Hello everyone, it's me Jake, and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite art from manga ever, which I've not read all mangas out there, so there's definitely art that isn't on this list that could be, like two that I know would be on here but I haven't read, are Blade the Immortal and Vagabond. I know people might be like, why aren't they on here? Well, I never read them, that's the only reason I haven't put them on this list. I'm sorry for that, but this is all manga I have read and my favorite art so far from what I've read. So I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, please like and subscribe. And let's get straight into the video, guys. Started off at number 10, we have No Guns Life. Now, the art style for No Guns Life is very gritty and very unique. I love how they draw their characters and how they draw action sequences and just how they draw in general. No Guns Life has a very, very unique and gritty art style that looks just like a sketchbook at some points, which makes it really unique, but also really enjoyable at the very same time. It gives more of a life and atmosphere to the art that not many mangas have. So it's very nice to see this more gritty art style, mostly because it also fits the story as well so much. And yeah, I think that this art style really encapsulates the story and shows how good this story is. And without this art style and a different art style, I don't know if it would have been the same experience for me. So, yeah. No Guns Life is number 10. And at number 9, to no surprise, if you're a fan of the series, you're going to expect this at one point because the art is just so good. And Atsushi Okubo is just a really good artist, and that's Fire Force. And I think Fire Force has some of the best new-gen art for new-gen shonen. And I just don't see why anyone could deny me on that. Fire Force has so many minuscule details in almost every panel, and every single thing in that panel is just so detailed and so intricately made, and this is a really good example of it. And also, he draws his characters in a way that is very unique. It's just very similar to Soul Eater, but it's still such good artwork. And I can never say Atsushi Okubo's art is bad, because it never really is bad. So, at number 9 is Fire Force. At number 8, if you read the series, you would probably agree with me on this, but not many people have fully read the series at all, or even heard of it, and that is Black Torch. Now, Black Torch is a very well-drawn story that wasn't Shonen Jump. I do believe it did just get kicked off instead of it being able to keep airing. I don't think it just ended off it wanting to end. It definitely just got kicked, but the artwork for this is super good. I have to find some good panels to show off. But they draw action sequences and they draw characters and everything so uniquely in a way that makes you get encapsulated just by the art alone. The story is not the best, but the world is pretty cool, and the art is extremely amazing. If you were to pick up any manga that's short, I would highly suggest this. It's only 5 volumes, and it's a pretty good read from when I read it. I liked it, so suggest it, and very good artwork. At number 7 is a series that just recently started in English. The volume just came out in English not too long ago, and that is Spy Family, or Spy X Family. I very much highly regard this as one of the best first volumes I've ever read, but the art in this is also insanely good. The grittiness is just enough. What they draw action sequences is perfect. How they draw sequences through panel to panel is really good. And the character design, character design is so great. So I really love this story and its design. It's very, very good. And I highly suggest that you read it if you haven't already. But there's just so much little details in all these panels that might just go unnoticed. So I just had to put it out there. Spy Family is definitely one of the top ones right now for me in New Gen Shonen. So I would highly suggest reading it, and the art is very good. So if you're looking for a very good drawn series, Spy Family is definitely one of them you should pick up, mostly because there's also only one volume right now, and the next volume comes out in, I think, October or November in English. I highly just suggest buying it right now while you can. So yeah, number 7, Spy Family. The next series on this list, and number 6, will be One Punch Man. Now, this volume is the San Diego Comic-Con 2019 volume. I don't have all of One Punch Man yet. I have only the 2 exclusive volume 1s. I am very close to getting it. I've read most of it online already, but I'm very much going to buy the series very soon. But the art for One Punch Man is very meticulously drawn, very detailed, and very good. It very much was not great in the web novel, because I didn't read too far into the web novel, but I did read a little bit of it. And when Yusuke Murata, man, when he redrew this, my god, he put the art to a whole nother level of the series. This series went from, like, decent art at best to some of the best art I've ever seen. And if you don't know who Yusuke Murata is, he is the mangaka that did Eyeshield 21, which is also a very well-drawn series. And, bro, I love One Punch Man. It's definitely in my top 10 anime. And probably going to be in my top 20-ish manga, but that's for another time. But I would just like to say this manga is so good, and the art is even better. And the characters are super well drawn. Like, look at Genos right there, bro. Look at Genos. So he's dripping, bro. He's dripping. The next one on this list you guys will probably be surprised about, because I always praise the series for being one of the best series ever, and probably one of the best drawn series ever, and that's One Piece. Oda Sensei did so well drawing this. Like, you can just tell off the cover, it's so well drawn, and so very meticulous with his art. Yes, at some points it's weird, and the character designs are very questionable, but like, that's only in the beginning, because once you they grow on to you, the art is fantastic. Of course, each panel is very wordy, but One Piece, man, it's such a great story. It builds the world so well, and the art just helps that even more. So, One Piece, definitely up there, is one of my favorite mangas ever. Anime is definitely not as good as the manga, but also is one of the best drawn manga I've ever seen. So, yeah. Next up on this list, right behind the number 3 spot at number 4, is Twin Star Exorcist. If you don't know, this is one of my favorite mangas ever, and I think the art really sells it for me. I'm a very big art fanatic, and this series has some of the best art I've ever seen, with some really great characters as well. I love Rogoro, I love Benyo, I love so many of the characters. Kamui I love Seigan, Kankuro, I love so many of these characters, and they're just so well drawn, and the story is so good, and the art is just even better. So, yeah, it only has 18 volumes on it? Yeah, 18 volumes right now in English. 19th is coming out, I believe, August. If I'm wrong, it's coming out in August to October, that area. Since it comes out in like every 4 months, 3 months, so yeah. But yeah, Twin Star Exorcist is at number 4, and very much deserving of that spot. Before we head into the top 3, there's a couple series that I would just like to praise before I go into them that just barely didn't make it into the top 3, or just barely didn't make it into this list. But these are going to be the honorable mentions. I have 3 series here for you right now to show you, and the first one is Magi. So Magi is a very well-drawn series with super lovable characters and a story that is fantastic. The story, its politics of the world, just is so unique and so good, but the art is fantastic. It barely didn't make this list, but God, do I love Magi's art, and if I were to do a top 15 or top 20 list, this would definitely be on that, no matter what series I add. The next honorable mention is another series I praise is probably the next big Shonen Jump title, and probably the best Shonen Jump title that's still serializing, and that's Jujutsu Kaisen. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is the best story still serializing, other than maybe Black Clover, because Promised Neverland ended. But the art for this is so unique. You're never going to see an art style like Jujutsu Kaisen. purely off its uniqueness. It's so unique, so detailed in a way that is so weird to say, because sometimes it literally looks like a sketch of the fight, but it's so good that even if it was a sketch, it looks so nice. So yeah, this honorable mention is Jujutsu Kaisen. And my final honorable mention, and probably one of the best mangas to ever be written, is Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, Yoshihiro Togashi's art in this series is so good, and in my opinion, is 35 times better than Hunter x Hunter. But we all know my opinion on Hunter x Hunter's art. Well, you guys might not know, but I think it's pretty bad. I love the story for Hunter x Hunter. No matter what, I love the story and I love the characters. Killua is one of my favorite anime and manga characters of all time. But the art is so subpar in the manga that when you look at Yu Yu Hakusho compared to it and say that was drawn by the same guy, you just wouldn't believe it. But I know Togashi has very severe back problems, so I'm not going to just say, yeah, just draw a better guy. I'm going to be like, okay, I sympathize with you. You have really bad back problems, so there's nothing you can do about it. But I hope him the best, and I wish him the best luck in the future. But Yu Yu Hakusho is one of the best drawing mangas ever, so. Next up on this list at number 3 is a series that a lot of people bash on for saying it's a Naruto clone, which it is very like Naruto for the first like 20 to 30 chapters, but after that it very much dignifies itself as a very different series from Naruto, and that is Black Clover. This is the Loot Crate exclusive volume, but Black Clover's art is just so fantastic. They draw the characters and fight scenes so well, and every and each panel is so well drawn. You can just not say that this art is so good. And when you compare it to the animation in the anime, yes, the animation in the anime gets better, but the art for it in the manga is just on a different level, bro. Like, I don't think the anime ever comes close to the manga. Maybe the first few episodes, because the first 3 episodes actually had really good budget and pretty good animation. After that, they lost budget and they couldn't do the animation as well, so yeah. Here, I just forgot about the first page. It's such a good example of how meticulously drawn this is. But yeah, number 3 is Black Clover. I highly suggest it. It definitely starts off slow. Like, it starts off really slow. The first 3 volumes, pretty slow. But after that, it builds up really well-drawn series and a really good series. So if you have the money, please pick the series up. Coming in at number 2, I've only read the first volume of this series, but I automatically had to put it on this list at a high spot because just how well drawn it is. I've skimmed through, I didn't read or like look too far into the art, but I made sure it doesn't lose quality in its art as it goes on, and that's a Witch Hat Atelier. A Witch Hat Atelier from the first volume is pretty good. I like the story, but the art is what drew me in the most. The art is so detailed, so good. And if you were to tell me like this art isn't good, I would have to say you're on LSD. I'm sorry. I would just have to say you're on some kind of drug. I do not want people to do drugs. I don't. But I'm just saying that if you say this is bad, you're definitely not in the right mind space, because this art is so good. And the character designs are so unique, and I just love the series art design. So, yeah. That at number 2 is Witch Hat Atelier. Last but not least is probably the best written story of all time in manga, and is one of the best mangas ever written and drawn, and that's Berserk. Berserk is so well written, and the drawings and the art are so good. And I have to make sure that I don't get anything too bad, because I said this in my manga collection video as well. Berserk's art can be very, not good for YouTube. NSFW should be the right word. Berserk's art can definitely be very NSFW at many of times. And the thing about Berserk is the art just gets better throughout the story. Like, I can show you a later volume as well. Okay, for this one, major spoilers. So if you have not read Berserk yet, do not, skip 20 to 30 seconds ahead, okay? So, this is Berserk more recently. The art is so much better than it used to be, and yeah, it's just so well drawn, and every single little bit is so meticulously drawn. So yeah, this is Berserk for number 1, and that's the most recent volume at volume 40, which took years to get from volume 39, sadly. But yeah, that was my video for the top 10 favorite art styles and art for manga that I've read before. There's 3 that I have never read that I said in the beginning, but I said 2. I only said Vagabond and Blade of the Immortal. Gantz is also one of them. Those 3 are probably the 3 series that I would probably put on this list if I actually read them, or any of the mangakas from those 3, any of theirs, other works as well. But yeah, if you liked the video, please press like and subscribe, and I hope I see you guys next time. Peace!